Making sense of politics and the cultural divide from a different perspective. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant on News Radio 710 Keel.
Well, hello, citizens. It is a great day in the USA, and it is Wednesday. Glad to be here with you again here in the greatest success story the world has ever known, America, the United States of America. And I am CL Bryant, and this is America on the Edge. And we're here to defend liberty and our freedom. And along with me is my co-host, Stephen Parr. We invite you to stay a while. Stephen, what do we have for the people today?
Another packed show here, CL. We're going to be talking about immigration issues, and actually our question of the day is going to be related to that. How many of you guys out there like the band Kiss? Gene Simmons from Kiss has been making some
they still
headlines. Yeah, actually, they still tour. The song "I Used to Rock and Roll All Night," and now Gene Simmons is he's said on air. We're going to play the clip a little bit later on as we're talking about immigration. But our question of the day is: we want to know if you agree with Gene Simmons that speaking English is the key to success in the United States. Is speaking English the key to success in the USA? Let us know. Or is it just having a really long tongue and face paint? Is that the key to success? We'd like to know that too. We're also going to be talking about St. Louis, the rioting that's going on, still civil distress that's been there, and because of the shooting, the police officer who shot a teenager this weekend and killed him.
Yeah, it's escalating. And doesn't look like it's going to go away. And we have a guest that lives in St. Louis that's going to be on with us, a name that you might know, and look forward to talking to him.
And we're going to be talking about ISIS. And more people are coming out and saying that this war in Iraq is really just part of a bigger war, and a war that's going to last a long time. And for some of us, perhaps the rest of our lives.
Very well could. They're saying it could be the next 50-year war, the next 100-year war. But I tell you something, they indoctrinate their children. I think Kyle has some clips on that as well. They indoctrinate their children in such a way that it will be generational.
Right. And we're going to be talking about that, too. Again, our question of the day, do you agree with Gene Simmons that speaking English is the key to success in the USA? If you think so or you don't think so, we want to know. You can give us a phone call, 318-320-KEEL, or send us a tweet at The American Edge. You can also reach us on our very popular Facebook page, facebook.com/America on the Edge. But
absolutely.
First, the buzz.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Well, Senator Landrieu kind of came under fire last week a little bit. Not from us, not from you and I, but from a report that came out that talked about how senators had been receiving government money for campaign issues. CNN had a story, and also in the USA Today, about senators using charter flights for official travel on taxpayers' dime, but it really should have been on campaign money. And Senator Landrieu had spent $47,000 on charter flights.
And guess what? Did she return the money?
She returned the money.
You know that what that's an indication of? Guilt.
Right. And she says it was an error that the airlines billed the Senate, and the airlines should have billed her campaign. And so after they realized the error, they asked the airline to refund the money to the Senate and rebill the campaign.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you return something, maybe you're trying to get the monkey off your back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But usually if you're not in the wrong, you say, hey, I got this fair and square. I'm not returning anything.
Yeah.
So she sent it back for whatever reason.
Right.
She was in the wrong.
Yeah, and she says it was a clerical note, and I mean, I don't have any reason to say not. I am glad to see the press doing what the press is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which is you investigate how government is spending our money.
I sure wish they'd investigate how Obama has spent our money. It has been the conservative side of this ledger that's been investigating this and talking about this. I think finally, though, the press very well may be catching up to this.
CNN was doing that. Speaking of the press, 710 Keel is making a little bit of news. Aaron McCarty.
That's our home right here.
Right here, 710 Keel. In the mornings, you can listen. If you're not listening every morning, I mean, come on, you got to be listening. Well, Aaron McCarty put up a poll on 710keel.com as to who you would vote for mayor if the election were held today. Patrick Williams, Ollie Tyler, Victoria Provenza, or Roy Burrell, or someone else. And so far in the voting, Patrick Williams is winning with 45. He was on our show yesterday.
Yeah, he was. And we want to have Ollie Tyler on as well.
And she's in second place with 43%. So
that's going to be a horse race.
Seems pretty close on the voting.
Now, who are the also rans in that?
Victoria Provenza has about 7.5%. Someone else has almost 4%. And Roy Burrell currently has about 0.5%.
Boy, that someone else is running pretty strong.
Well,
against Roy Burrell, a well-known name.
Right, someone else, and I don't know who that is, but
well, that's someone else.
Again, if you want to vote on that poll, you can go to 710.com and find it. But good to see that.
That Shreveport mayor's race is going to be very interesting because Shreveport has all the opportunity in the world to turn a lot of things around. It's going to be interesting to see who's able to do that. Ollie Tyler or Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
You vote.
And we have been receiving a little bit of email from our show on Monday. We were live at Savoy's, and we interviewed Bill Cassidy, Dr. Bill Cassidy, who's running for Senate. We interviewed Senator David Vitter. We also interviewed State Rep Alan Seabaugh. And we got an email because one of our listeners did not like what Alan Seabaugh said. This is from Miss Lou F. She said, I couldn't help but take offense to Alan Seabaugh's negative comments about Roy Maness and how he praised Dr. Cassidy for being such a great conservative. I wanted to ask him, if that's the case, why did the Heritage Action Scorecard only give him a 60% approval rating?
Well, very good question, and I'm glad that she did, in fact, respond to that. I applaud both of these responses. I applaud, first of all, our listener for responding to her principles and the way she feels about this. But I also applaud Seabaugh for standing on for his candidate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. May the very best man win between this. And ladies, I mean nothing by this as long as the woman doesn't win in this particular race.
And it's more about the initial at the end of the word, whether that's a D or an R, rather than the Mr. or Mrs. at the front.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I wish we did have a conservative woman running in this race.
And again, it's about whether a Republican's able to replace Mary Landrieu, regardless of where she gets her airline mileage from.
And give it back.
We will be right back with more America on the Edge. We're going to be talking about immigration. You'll get to hear from Gene Simmons. And we'll see what you think about that. You also send us a tweet. Is English the key to success?
Is he still wearing that
USA?
makeup?
Sometimes, yeah. I think it's a mask he sleeps in now. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The strangest guy I've ever seen. This is America on the Edge. CL Bryant with Stephen Parr. We'll be right back.
You're listening to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
The Italians are not the only lovers of pizza, but just to make the Johnny's of Pizza House experience more authentic for you, we invite you to be Italian. We'll whisk you far, far away to a land of romance and squisito Italian pizza. A 12-inch for just $12.99 begins your journey. Our new bacon and tomato pizza seasoned with Johnny's special Italian blend. Enjoy, no. Goodere Johnny's bacon and tomato pizza today. Johnny's Pizza House. Taste the best.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6311 888-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
William F. Duncan doesn't just offer auto, home, and life insurance. He does it with great personal service. William F. Duncan has covered Caddo and DeSoto parishes for over 18 years. Call him today, 318-532-4300. Tell him CL sent you.
Drive into Shreveport and save on a new Ford. Gotta be Roundtree Ford.
Roundtree Ford's a big-time dealer, and they want to get you the truck you need at the price you want. Get the new 2014 F-150 XLT 4x4, $9,500 off MSRP, and get an additional $1,500 with a trade-in. Or get $12,000 off MSRP on the new 2014 F-250 at Roundtree Ford. Savings include $7,500 in dealer discounts and $4,500 in manufacturer rebates.
RoundtreeFordLA.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Byrne. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get 'em, CL.
The home of Rush Limbaugh. Weekdays from 11 to 2 on News Radio 710 Keel.
These senators do not want to control immigration. They want to expand it. Wealth will be redistributed from the middle class to a new class of poor. But what we're actually doing is importing poverty in order to enhance big government.
Rush, right here on your news and weather station, News Radio 710 Keel. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. We've got our face paint on here in the studio. Yeah, we're rocking out here on America on the Edge.
You're on your own, baby. You're on your own, man. Yeah.
That was Kiss, and we'll be talking about Gene Simmons in just a minute. Our question of the day, do you think that English is the key to success in America? You can give us a phone call, 318-320-KEEL. You can also send us a tweet at The American Edge or on Facebook.com/America on the Edge. CL, we talked to David Vitter earlier this week, and Senator Vitter called for the Senate to come back into session to try and solve some of this immigration issue before the president takes amnesty. He's not the only one saying that. Senate Republican Jeff Sessions is also calling for the Senate to come back in, and he's actually challenging Americans to do something. He wants us to start calling the Senate to demand that the Senate come back into session.
And I agree with Jeff Sessions on that. I agree with David Vitter on the fact that we should deal with this problem because this problem will swamp us. We cannot tolerate. And folks, I know that we're being called intolerant. I know that so many times we're called haters and all that type thing. That has nothing to do with the fact that these people are coming into our country illegally. And that is the key words. Remember last week I had all of you. I said, repeat it after me. Illegal. They are here illegal, and we are a country of laws.
And part of Jeff Sessions' concern is that the president will violate our laws because the Senate isn't going to pass a new one. Listen to what he was saying just yesterday about folks trying to stop this from happening.
He's told the world that with a stroke of his pen, he will by president. He's told the world that with a stroke of his pen, he will by president.
Well, okay, so that wasn't exactly working, but basically he was saying that he's going to provide amnesty for 5 million people with the stroke of his pen.
Of his pen, and he is going to rule over us if, in fact, we allow him to get away with this. This is the same guy who denies the fact that he is responsible for the troops pulling out of Iraq.
Yeah.
And he will definitely march to his own drummer if we allow this to happen. Congress, the Senate needs to do something. And I think people like Vitter are about to stand up. Sessions is about to stand up. And Harry Reid, if we have our way, if we can defeat Mary Landrieu with Cassidy or Manus, we can take the Senate and we can make a difference here in Louisiana.
And the thing is that it's not like the government has not failed to break the law on this in the past. They have been breaking their own laws on this. An article on Breitbart.com it talks about how ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, released over 600 illegal immigrants who had criminal convictions. This happened last February. 600 criminals in our country illegally were released from prison because of, get this, the sequester.
Wow.
They were trying to blame Republicans for cutting the budget. So one of the ways that they tried to bring the pain, they tried to make it hurt, was to release illegal immigrants with criminal records from prison.
This is your Obama administration at work. This is how they play this game. They want to harm the country, and they want to make themselves look good by releasing this many criminals. And believe me, they're permeating throughout the bloodstream of America now. They're on your streets. You don't know where they are. And we want to remind you that it was Barack Obama who did this, and he wants to blame it on folks who, on the sequester that he claims Republicans were responsible for.
It's very similar to what's going on right now. The Republicans in the House have passed immigration bills. The Senate didn't even take it up.
They're
They went
sitting on
vacation.
whose desk, Stephen? Whose desk are they sitting on?
Harry Reid's
They're
desk.
sitting on Harry Reid's desk.
357 bills passed by the House.
357
yes,
bills
are sitting on the desk of Harry Reid, and I don't think they're in the desk anymore. I think he may have put them in file 13.
Oh, that's a barn fire, man.
They're
There's a barn
certainly
fire
not heading out to, and they're not going to see the floor of the Senate. And the president's using that as an excuse to blame Republicans. He's using Harry Reid's inaction as an excuse to blame inaction on Republicans.
These 600 criminals that are on the street right now, folks, please hear me. If there's no other reason for you to get out to the polls to vote this year, 2014, November, that alone is it. If we do not act and act now, we will be overrun by foreign criminals in our streets. And we have enough in America on its own.
This isn't also a minority thing. This isn't just a few bad apples coming across. According to Pew Research, another report that came out today, according to Pew Research, 60% of the Hondurans currently in the United States are here illegally. More than half of the people that have come to the United States from the country of Honduras have done it the wrong way.
Which makes them criminals.
Right.
And because if you're in the country illegally, you are a criminal.
You're breaking the law.
So 60% of the Hondurans, folks, hear it again. You have 600 felons who are in this country illegally from foreign countries. And you have 60% Hondurans, don't know if they're are felons or not, but they're certainly criminals being here illegally in this land. If you have no other reason to go out and vote 2014, these two reasons are those.
And it's not about anti-immigration.
No.
This country is built on immigrants, and many immigrants to this country have reached the American dream. The best you can probably describe it, they've come from nothing, and they've gained everything. And one of those is Gene Simmons from KISS. And Gene Simmons, he was from Israel, born in Israel, and his family immigrated legally to the United States. And he says there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Listen to this interview from CNN, and I believe we've bleeped out. We had to bleep out part of it.
Puff,
so
we did bleep that out, right?
Right. Okay. It's good. But he's a rock and roller. He doesn't always use the King's English. Anyway, listen to what Gene Simmons was saying.
What is the politically correct climate in regards to
You don't
immigrants,
want to upset anybody by saying learn to speak English. So as an immigrant, I'm telling you, learn to speak English. It is the key that will unlock the keys to the kingdom.
You don't think that's easier said than done for some people, though?
Of course it's difficult, but why should it be easy?
Mm-hmm.
Why should it?
So easier. This interviewer was saying, so that's that's you don't think that's more easier said than done.
Right.
How many millions, I mean, not just thousands, how many millions of Americans came here and their chief goal was to become an American? And in becoming an American, they didn't even want their kids speaking English, speaking their native tongue in their home. No, you speak the English.
Right.
That was the thing. To become an American, that's what's missing in this country.
You can't join the melting pot if you're not willing to mix in. You just can't. And going back to it's easier said than done, in my experience, almost anything is easier said than done, with the exception of respiration. It's easier to breathe than it is to say respiration.
Just about.
But other than that...
Can you spell it?
Man, that's really hard. That is real. It starts with an R, ends with an N.
Well, spell chrysanthemum.
No, I will not. But just about anything is easier said than done. But to Gene's point, if you don't speak English, I'm going to answer the question of the day from my point of view. If you can't speak English, then you really cannot reach the American dream. What if Kiss was singing in Yiddish?
And Stephen, let me say this too. And when we go syndicated across the country, this will mean more. But even to the inner city kids here in Shreveport, learn to speak the language of business.
Yeah.
English. Learn to speak it well. It doesn't mean that you're trying to be highfalutin or anything. It means that you have enough respect for yourself to speak the language of business that will carry you forward in this nation.
If you want to make money, you got to make yourself valuable to people who have money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant. I'm Stephen Parr, and coming up next, we're talking to Kevin Jackson, excuse me, I misspoke. Things easier said than done. Kevin Jackson coming up from St. Louis and the rioting that's been going on up there. We'll be right back.
Giving you the edge. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
SB Magazine, North Louisiana's premier publication, is your source for local entertainment, home decor ideas, gardening information, fashion trends, and seasonal gift guides. Every month we take you behind the scenes at some of Shreveport Bossier's most fun events in Ion SB. And you'll find SB Magazine everywhere. But the best way to make sure you have the most current issue is to subscribe. It's just $16 for 12 months. Call Debbie today or go to our website, sbmag.net. SB Magazine, the pulse of Shreveport Bossier.
Attention all mechanics. Republic Services is now hiring full-time mechanics and offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to those who qualify. Applicants must have at least 2 years diesel and heavy equipment experience with a knowledge in air brakes, steering, electrical, AC, hydraulics, and suspension. ASC certification is a plus. Must be willing to learn and work as a team. Interested candidates may apply online at republicservices.com or in person at 6896 Industrial Loop in Shreveport. Republic Services.
Hello, I'm Liz, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the legislative vesting clause of the Constitution.
Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution states, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. To the founders, legislative power was the power to make laws that apply to all alike, that are clear and easy to understand. The Constitution says all legislative powers, and that means Congress cannot rightfully delegate these powers to some other body. Today our laws are thousands of pages long. Sometimes rules are tens of thousands, and no one can read them. Congress has abdicated its legislative power to unelected bureaucrats and countless executive agencies. This is a violation of Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
8 years ago, Louisiana Power Sports opened for business in Houghton. Well, a lot has happened since then. Louisiana Power Sports has grown into the #1 exclusive Polaris dealer in the South, and we're still growing. Louisiana Power Sports is now open in our big new building on Benton Road, just 1/2 mile north of I-220 in Bossier City. Over 30,000 square feet with a bigger showroom holding more new Polaris ATVs and side-by-sides than ever. A huge new state-of-the-art service department and more parts and accessories. Come see the new store, say hi to everyone you know, and see and test drive the new 2015 Polaris models. Louisiana Power Sports says thank you, Louisiana. Thank you, Arkansas. Thank you, Texas, for 8 great years in Houghton, and invites you to come see us in our big new location, now open at 3715 Benton Road, 1/2 mile north of I-220 in Bossier City.
Louisiana Power Sports, get ready to ride.
LouisianaPowersports.com.
This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. I'm Stephen Parr. We want to know, do you agree with Gene Simmons? Is English the key to success in the USA? Let us know. Give us a phone call, 318-320-KEEL. You can also send us a tweet at The American Edge. CL, we've been talking about the rioting that's been going on up in St. Louis, and there's still more violence last night, although it seemed to be less than we had seen the previous 2 nights.
Yeah, it does, Stephen, and it appears that there are some things that are being withheld, and joining us now on the line is a friend of mine, Kevin Jackson, the author of Sexy Brilliance and Other Political Lies and The Big Black Lie. He's also, guys, this is a funny guy as well. Let me tell you, him and Joe the Plumber, I think you guys did a tour about two bald guys. You're going to tell me about that, Kevin. But I want to welcome you first to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and my co-host, Stephen Parr. Welcome, man.
Good to talk to you guys, man. Hey, CL, real quick plug. It's not out yet, but my 3rd book is more fitting to this St. Louis situation, and it's titled How to Be a Race Pimp for Fun and for Profit.
Love it. How to Be a Race Pimp for Fun and for Profit. What do you have, this guy on the cover with a mink coat on or something?
Yeah, no, I have the working cover is Uncle Sam with his fingers crossed and a little boy. He's talking to a little boy, and effectively tricking him into believing that he's going to be giving him an opportunity anymore, because opportunity is dying in America, as you guys know, because of liberalism.
Absolutely. Kevin, we look forward to that book. Man, tell us what's going on up there in St. Louis. They haven't we haven't said whether the shooter's white or black. You and I talked about this on Newsmax television yesterday.
Yeah,
but have they released any other information? What's going on?
There's a rumor that, and I heard this through one of the things, and we had kind of gone over to take a peek, and there's a rumor that indeed the person who is involved in the shooting is a black man. Now you got to understand, CL, 53 of the people involved in 53 of the cops in this area. There are 53 cops in the Ferguson Police Department. Only 3 of them are black.
Wow.
So statistically speaking, you would think it's a white guy. The reason why I tell you, when it first came out, I said he was a black guy because, one, they didn't make it a racial incident. They made it a cop versus black people incident. And then the second thing is there was a guy with the kid who was killed, another black kid, and he hasn't said any, as far as I know, he hasn't said, no, man, that white cop told us to get our, onto the effing sidewalk. So I think it would have been a lot more in your face if had it been. So it's still speculation at this point, but I'm pretty sure that it's one of those 3 black officers.
I have a feeling that you're right, Kevin. On David Webb's show, I had speculated the same thing, even though there was no concrete proof, and had tweeted that out. So you and I are thinking along those very same lines. Now, what role is Al Sharpton playing up there? Has he stirred up any trouble? What's the deal?
Well, he did his press conference, and the thing about it, and honestly, I'm not trying to plug my book, but we have a session.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm really not, because it's not even.
I know
yet.
you, buddy.
It helps to be timely.
But I promise you, when you read it, you'll be thinking about this interview. Now, look, Sharpton flies in as if he's bringing an audience to this situation. Look, CL, as you and I both know, the audience is already there. Sharpton flies in, gets in front of the people who are already standing there as if he's brought all these people together, and he really hasn't. And instead of saying the right things, and I blame all the black so-called leadership up the food chain, from Barack Obama to Eric Holder, who deployed the FBI, to Sharpton, who flies in for his 15 seconds, is they're talking about the wrong stuff. Look, black people, liberals, as a black conservative, I just know there's fools on the left. They should be embarrassed that people use an incident where a kid gets killed, a tragedy, and CL, you and I talked about this the other day, but they use a tragedy for personal gain, and they go steal stuff like rims and tennis shoes.
Yeah.
They're not feeding their kids. It isn't Similac for your baby. It isn't food because you're starving. No, it's rims and Jordans.
Let me read a real quick quote from Al Sharpton. He said, "We've got to solve the problem. We've got to make the criminal justice system work for people like Michael Brown. Otherwise, we're not the country we claim to be." Do you think that Al Sharpton knows it takes more than 3 days for the justice system to work?
Oh, well, look, all the platitudes are the things that these guys are going to say to make it appear as though they really care about justice. If they really cared about justice, they would let this thing run its course. CL and Steve, you guys know this. There are many, many more acts of kindness in America that showcase America for what it is, the mosaic of the world. In fact, we are everything and everybody. I'm talking about from Muslim to Christian, as we used to say, from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy. and we're all of that. And with respect to the police department, there are many, many more acts of kindness, and cops around this country have done more to help blacks because we're in high crime neighborhoods. I live in a high crime neighborhood in St. Louis, and I'm happy to see cops patrolling. 4 times my car's been broken into. One time when we were at my cousin's wedding in Texas. And I was
How low can a person be to break into your car when you're at a wedding, Kevin? I mean, come on.
Well, so look, at the end of the day, what these guys should be talking about is the depravity that has sunk, first of all, in American culture, and certainly in the subculture that is known as Black America, to where we do things like this and do it under the guise of no justice, no peace.
Kevin, you've brought up the next point I really want to get to is that you have been talking about this. CL has been talking about this. Denise's been talking about this. Alan West. A lot of folks all over the country are starting to say there are black conservatives, and we have to change the way that as a society we behave. And I think that message is starting to get out. And the reason I think that, there's a clip on Facebook from a man named Jonathan Gentry. He's out in Los Angeles.
Right.
I want to play this clip. I'm glad you've heard it. I want our audience to hear it because he goes on about a 6-minute rant, and I think it's poignant to the situation.
Us rioting, looting, burning down donut shops and stores and everything else, liquor stores, Shanae's hair salon for the extensions. This is not helping. Us acting a fool out here because we pissed off at the police is not helping. I said this before and I said it again. Change is not going to come until we change it. You understand what I'm saying? This is not helping. Change isn't going to come until we change it. All we know how to do is march and riot and loot. This is not helping. What you guys are out here doing is not helping. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear imposing to what you want to hear. All we know how to do is blame the police and white folks for our actions. That's all we know how to do is blame police and white folks. They mistreating us. They beating on us. Oh, slavery still exists. Oh, I'm sick of it.
And Kevin, me too, man. That was gold. That was absolute gold. But I tell you something. This is what I believe, Kevin, and you tell me what you think about this. Listen, you and I, Deneen, Alan, folks like us who have been on the front line for the last 5 years in this particular fight, this particular black conservative movement as it became prominent in 2009, are for us. I believe that all of the slings and arrows and Uncle Toms and race traders and all that, I believe that we are beginning to flip that light on, and it's coming on in the minds of others. What say you?
I agree, CL, but look, the short answer is yes, we are. And the reason is you have to have the skin of a rhinoceros, to take the barbs that we take. But and we don't see it as anything. I mean, you just learn that right is right and wrong is wrong. But are we getting a big enough audience? I mean, look, you need to get your show syndicated. I'm in 4 markets. My show should be syndicated because it's fearless people who are out there talking about this stuff, and we're waking up the gentries of the world that are saying, you know what, enough is enough. And there's a lot of people in the black community that feel exactly the way we're talking. Now, don't misunderstand me. There's a bunch of people out there going, oh, listen to that Uncle Tom, that Oreo, that Rush Limbaugh wannabe. They're cussing me now. But you know what? To heck with them. Because at the end of the day, there are people around them going, you know what? He's right. We shouldn't be rioting over this. There's been more black-on-black crime, and the excuse that they use, CL, as well, you're a higher propensity to kill the people that are in your own neighborhood. Well, then why ain't white people killing each other in droves?
Exactly.
What do you think is the solution to the problem? What needs to happen next to start moving forward down the path where we can talk about things without it leading to this mass chaos that's happened?
I'll tell you the first thing, and I know people are probably going to be like, come on, Kev, but the truth is white folks, I'm talking about the ones that on the right, they need to stop buying into it. The next time somebody comes up and says, to quote Gentry, it's white person's fault or it's so-and-so's fault, they need to say, shut up.
Exactly.
I don't have anything to say to you. Just shut up. I don't want to hear it. If you want to tell me that Oprah Winfrey, who was molested by her own family members, and she's one of the richest women in the world, can make it, and you can't, just shut up and go do it.
Exactly.
And as soon as you guys stop apologizing, I'm not trying to be funny about it, as soon as y'all stop apologizing and enabling, because that's what it is, and get rid of this political correctness where you can't say, things that you really want to say. Because, look, Steve, people out there in the white community, they know the problems with blacks. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to say it because they're afraid. The minute you guys start saying, I ain't letting you get away with it, I wouldn't let my kids get away with it, and I ain't letting you get away with it, so shut up, and you better start fending for yourself because I'm not your money pit. That'll be number one. And number two, I think that it is getting more powerful voices out there and good people, good men and women that are black conservatives who they can see are fearless in our conviction of fighting for this. They used to say that we were the people trying to make money. Well, I guarantee you, me and CL can attest, there ain't no money on this side.
No, man. Let me tell you, we don't do this because, and Kevin, you know this, we don't do this because it's popular. We do this because we believe it's right. It's the right thing to do. And I love what you just said, man. I believe, and most of my listeners most likely are white. They are Caucasian. They are white folks. And what Kevin has just said is the medicine. Speak up and say, I'm not taking this anymore. Believe me, it's effective. And
what happens, though, CL, is people start thinking, well, they're going to call me racist, and they're going to call, and I'm going, man, they call you that anyway.
And you might as well stand on the principle. Kevin, listen, brother, always good to talk to you. Got to have you on the show regularly, and we have some things that we must do there in St. Louis. Look like we might be coming your way. I'll fill you in on that more off here as time goes by. But listen, Godspeed, God bless, and keep you, friend. Talk to you soon.
You guys take care. Bye-bye.
You're listening to America on the Edge. If you like what you hear, you want to support what's going on here and the voices that you're hearing, help us out. And we'll help you out at the same time. You can advertise on America on the Edge, 855-288-6987, 855-28-6987. We'll be right back.
You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Burns. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get them, CL.
If the number on your thermostat is going up just as quickly as the temperature outside, your air conditioner may have a serious problem. Give the friendly folks over at Premier Heating and Cooling a call at 222-1980.
On your smartphone, you can check company email, stay connected with family on social media,
play video games,
jams. And now, listen to your favorite radio station. Introducing Radio Pup, an app you can get for your smartphone that lets you listen to your favorite radio station anytime, anywhere. Find out where the party's at tonight, what's going on in local news. Always be in the know with Radio Pup. Download Radio Pup in the iTunes Store or Android Market for free. Or head to radiopup.com. Radio Pup, the radio app that follows you everywhere. Brought to you by American Wholesale Mattress.
It's the most advanced technology available. Engineered with over 200 million sensory receptors. Its all-terrain design is beautifully formed, weather-resistant, reliable, astonishingly high performance in even the most challenging of circumstances. And it is also the finest search technology in the world. There's nothing else quite like a search dog. Be part of the search. Go to searchdogfoundation.org to see how you can help.
Wake up, wake up. Ralph, Helen, wake up.
What the?
Who are you? Hear that noise?
What is that?
Your AC's about to break.
Oh, no. Today's July 4th.
Call AirServe. They work holidays and never charge for overtime.
Never? Get out of here.
Never.
Get out of here.
It's true.
No, Ralph means get out of here. Get out of our bedroom.
Well, excuse me.
Take comfort in airserve.com. They work 24/7, even on holidays, and never charge for overtime.
Conserving water is mostly a matter of using good common sense. If everyone that used the Sparta aquifer simply turned the water off while they brush their teeth, we could save 1.5 million gallons of water per day. Before brushing, wet your brush and fill a glass of water to rinse your mouth. The declining Sparta aquifer is our main water source in North Louisiana. Do your part for water conservation. Be Sparta smart. Make every drop count. This public service announcement is brought to you by this radio station, a member of the Sparta Media Network.
Rush Limbaugh, the authority for all things right.
Let me cut through all of the noise. These senators do not want to control immigration. They want to expand it. Wealth will be redistributed from the middle class to a new class of poor. But what we're actually doing is importing poverty in order to enhance big government.
Rush is on every weekday from 11 to 2, right here on your news and weather station, News Radio 710 Keel. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. I am Stephen Parr. And CL, we've been talking during the break. Kevin Jackson was great during that last segment.
Great guest.
What would you think of it?
Well, you know, Stephen, I'd like to ask you and everyone, and you know what, we might have to, this is a question of the day tomorrow, because I know that most people don't like confrontation.
Sure.
They don't like it. And in order to solve this problem that you have of being called a racist, just on knee jerk, anything, the sky is black and lowering, oh, you're a racist.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
In fact, that's a joke on college campuses today. A guy comes out, oh man, it's dark out here. Oh, you're a racist.
Right.
I mean, it's got to. How far do we take this? And when will you, as white people, begin to push back?
I already do personally, and it's because I know I'm not racist. And so then I'm able to, when I'm having a conversation with someone else, I'm not having a conversation with you as a black man. I'm having a conversation with you, CL, an individual.
Right.
I see people as individuals, and I want to talk and communicate to people as individuals. And as long as I'm playing on that field,
right,
then you're going to, the evidence of proof that I'm a racist is on you now. It's not on me.
People who have heard me speak around the country, Stephen, I tell them they might as well stand on the principle and don't worry about what they're going to call you, because guess what?
They're going to
call you names anyway.
Sure.
So stand on the principle. What else we got?
Well, we actually have a phone call in, because our question earlier of the day was, do you agree with Gene Simmons that English is the key to success in this country? And I think we have, do we have a caller on the line right now?
We have John on the line?
Do we have? I'm sorry. I thought we had him on the line.
He's there?
Are you there? Can you hear us?
John, are you there?
Well, apparently we do not have him right now.
You see, he wouldn't speak up, Steve.
See, that's the thing. You got to talk up.
He wouldn't stand on the principle.
You got to be,
John.
You got to speak up.
They're going to call your names anyway, baby. I mean, you might as well come on and face the music.
We had him on the phone.
Go ahead.
All right, so now we're going to be switching gears here, talking about ISIS. The U.S. Government has added another 130 observers or advisors into the fight in Iraqi Kurdistan, trying to fight against ISIS, trying to protect some of the populations that there. But this has already been a long war in that we invaded Iraq back in the 2000s, basically a little more than a decade ago. And this is not over now. And more people are starting to say, this isn't going to be over for a long time. Jonah Goldberg, Jonah Goldberg.
I know Jonah.
He wrote an article today. It was published in Tribune and also on Real Clear Politics. He says this is going to be a 20 to 30-year war, kind of like, not quite as long as the Cold War is what he was saying.
Interesting.
He's not the only one. The former chief of the Australian Army, this is a Professor Peter Leahy, says it's going to be a 100-year war.
The way, and I think we may have a clip to support this, what I'm about to say. I think, Stephen, this is going to be generational because there are schools even in the Middle East, and some of that money is actually given to them through the UN.
Yeah.
Money that
and don't forget, the UN gets most of its money from the United States.
Exactly.
Right.
The lion's share of the UN is funded by us.
Right.
And so this clip, I think you have it.
Yeah.
Is about to be played. Folks, I want you to listen to this. It's chilling.
This is a young girl that is in a UN school in Gaza. Listen to it.
Yes. While our families were having fun on the beach, we were having a barbecue and a wolf appeared. Who is the wolf? The Jews. Isn't it true that the Jews are the wolf? What did the Jews do to us? They expelled and deported us. They killed us and shot our families. They expelled us from our villages. They arrested our fathers and grandfathers. Correct? And where did they expel us to? To the refugee camp. Who expelled us? The Jews.
Now, folks, these kids were anywhere from 5 to 8 years old. Now, the thing that you're looking at is the shaping of a world view. And once a child reaches 8 to 10 years old, his worldview has been shaped. It has been formed. Seldom does it ever change. What's so chilling about this, Stephen, is that these children were repeating after this instructor.
Right.
It's the Jews. It's the Jews. America is on the edge. The world is on the edge. And we're bringing conversation to that part of America, to that part of the world that seldom we talk about. Stephen and I will be right back. Stay tuned.
Giving you the edge. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
If you're tired of getting nickel and dime for your company's marketing needs, GI Marketing Group can help. We're a new, evolved marketing company with no monthly fees or markups and with quicker response times. With GI Marketing Group, there is no outsourcing. We own the production facilities, everything from print, mail, video, digital, and web design. We do it all in-house. Call us today at 318-222-1100 to start saving time and money, or visit us online at gimarketinggroup.com.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
If you're in need of a good plumber, perhaps you need work on your heater, or especially right now with cooling and refrigeration systems. If you need help, Give the friendly folks at Premier a call at 222-1980.
Have you ever thought, I wish I didn't have to search for the best price on printing or direct mail? Tired of trying to design your own material on some confusing website just to get to the end and it's not that professional look your business needs? Well, stop searching and call Graphic Industries. We've been waiting on your business, ready to help you with your printing and direct mail needs. Graphic Industries offers all types of print, stationery, brochures, flyers, catalogs, door hangers, books, pocket folders, postcards, variable printed letters, and much, much more. Graphic Industries can direct mail for you, too. You can customize a mailing list, target a certain demographic, or just flood the market and get your name in the homes of thousands of potential clients. Lowest prices, best quality, and a faster turn time. Visit us online at graphicindustries.net. or call us today at 318-222-1100. Graphic Industries, the #1 choice of printing and direct mail.
Rush Limbaugh, the authority for all things right.
It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Remember, most days I still feel like I'm 18 to 20. I mean, there's bumps in there, of course, but you look back on it on balance, it's not a thing I would change.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on News Radio 710 Keel. You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. I am Stephen Parr. We're coming close to the end of the show, but make sure you tune in tomorrow. We have Matt Kibbe from Freedom Works coming in to the show tomorrow.
President and CEO, the General. He'll be on with us.
Should be a good conversation we have with him. We can ask him what it's like to talk to Bill Maher. Hey, coming up right now, we have on the phone Chauncey from Shreveport answering our question. Chauncey, yeah.
Chauncey.
It's a name. It's a real name. Okay, cool. All right, Chauncey from Shreveport answering our question of the day. Do you agree with Gene Simmons that English is the key to success in America?
Yeah, I do. I know there's not a lot of Chaunceys in Shreveport. I was born on Cape Cod, so I can't help it. But
anyway, nothing wrong with Chauncey.
Anyway, of course he's right. I mean, anybody knows that to function better for their own good, anybody coming in here with a different language from English is going to do better for them and their family if they learn the language. And I told your screener my favorite memory on this was a story Paul Harvey reported years ago when California passed a law that said any language group with over 5% of the population had to have their language in the voting booth. And Paul Harvey paused like he did and commented, well, to vote you have to be a citizen, which means you either was born here or, if naturalized, you've been here at least 7 years. He said to be here that long and refuse to learn English is like keeping a picture of your ex-wife on your new wife's dressing table.
Oh, I like that. Listen, let me ask you this while I got you on the phone, Chauncey. If, in fact, by some presidential fiat order or executive order, what have you, he blankets and makes these guys citizens of this country, would that bother you?
Yes, because I know a number of naturalized people from Central America and European countries, South America, who went through the long and arduous task of legally doing it. It cost them a lot of money. They had to wait. They had to do a lot of stuff. And just out of raw fairness to them, it bothers me, before we get to the fact that some of the ones coming in are criminals, they're terrorists in disguise, they want to mooch off the system. Even before we get to that discussion, it's just plain unfair from the get-go.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you calling in. Please call in often. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, it has been an interesting day. We've had a lot of conversations out there. And, CL, I think I know where you stand on the learning the English language stance.
English! Yeah. Learn it!
Yeah, see, I didn't think that was going to take much time at all. By the way, if you'd like to advertise on the show, if you'd like to support us and have us help support you, give us a call, 855-288-6987.
And, Stephen, I think it's been a very provocative show as well. Kevin Jackson and all the guests that we've had on, what have we been on now, 7?
About 7 weeks, yeah, about 7 weeks.
Well, we thank God for this day that he has brought us safely through, and we thank our men and women in uniform from sea to sea and around the globe, protecting, Stephen, your right and mine to speak our mind on these airwaves. Talk to you soon. This is CL Bryant, America on the Edge.
To
protect and defend what we believe, and keep America strong and living free. They see the damage and the pain.
Your station for news, weather, and stimulus.